Which brings us to number one. I don't think this is a surprise. I think this is the most important match that John Cena ever wrestled. In fact, I think it's the most important match for the career of the man he faced. Maybe it's not John Cena's most important match to his career, but I think it's the most important match he ever had in terms of historical significance. And those are two separate things. To what it meant to the wrestling business, I think this is John Cena's most important match. And it's certainly the most important match to his opponent, and that is CM Punk, and that is Money in the Bank 2011. And that happened in Chicago, at the Allstate Arena, at whatever you want to call it, at that old wooden building that has the best acoustics in the history of professional wrestling, with a crowd that featured me, who lived in the Atlantic City, New Jersey area, who said, I don't have a lot of money. I'm young. I was 26 years old. But I watched what happened when CM Punk did the pipe bomb and made me feel something about wrestling I hadn't felt in a long time. And doing so with John Cena in a rubble in the ring while wearing a Stone Cold shirt. The promo that birthed Squared Circle Reddit. The promo that everybody was talking about. The promo that I went on Facebook that night and said, if you haven't watched wrestling in a while, CM Punk just turned the world upside down. And if you don't know who he is, go watch this. I think I posted the clip. And what that would turn into. CM Punk, who was told, and watch his documentary, Best in the World, you're John Cena's TV program. You're John Cena's TV program. When he was feuding with The Miz and the stuff with The Rock and all. Yeah, he'll just, and by the way, at that Mania, CM Punk steals the show, or has one of the show-stealing matches with Randy Orton. And he'd been leading the new Nexus and all that stuff. And there were elements of this feud that dated back to the year prior when Cena was trying to get out of the Nexus and Punk was doing commentary and he knocked over the diet soda, and that got Punk out from commentary, where they put him, because he was a good talker and very good at commentary. I hope we get Punk on commentary again at some point down the road. But that started the feud, and it didn't go that far and wasn't about WrestleMania, but then came back around because of Punk's contract expiring. And all of a sudden, the wrestling world was lit on fire because you had the company guy who women and children loved and men hated, CM and John Cena, taking on the guy that real wrestling fans. And I'm saying that as part of the story. I know wrestling fans like John Cena and CM Punk, or real wrestling fans also like John Cena. My point is, he's the guy that's not supposed to be the guy. He was the anti-hero. He was the voice of the voiceless. This company's not going to go with someone like me, who looks like me, who acts like me, who wasn't the clean-cut, kissing baby, shaking hands John Cena. But CM Punk galvanized a fan base that was thirsty with his words, which made him a massive star in the making. When he made it very clear, and they tried to renegotiate and the stuff with Laurinaitis and Vince and all that. You can't control me. And now you need me because I get this title match. I earned this title match. The fans want me to have this title match. We're doing it in Chicago. And I'll tell you something, from my time working there, sometimes this stuff works out well because it's planned out well. And sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle and the talent carries the creative. That happened. They talked me, a 26-year-old, know-it-all wrestling fan who watched everything, who read everything, who followed everything, who knew too much to enjoy shows, and I admit that was a fault. But I wanted to know. I wanted to read rumors and stories, and you name it, I can get my hands on and read about it, listen to it on a podcast, whatever. I was engrossed in it. But as always, what it comes down to, are you going to get people in the building? Are you going to get people to open their wallets, plunk down money for the pay-per-view? Are you going to get them to plunk money down to buy a ticket? And you know what? CM Punk single-handedly make that happen. I bought a ticket. I flew out of Atlantic City. I flew into Chicago. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I stayed at a hotel not near anything. I walked 6 miles because I was so close. I had to get around Chicago. And believe me, a little different times back then in terms of navigating. I didn't realize that the arena was nowhere near Chicago proper. It wasn't there at all. But when I got there and I walked in the building, I knew I was there for something special. And I bought that CM Punk shirt that he wore that night. The shirt that they sold for one night with the date on it. That if I bought a second one, would have paid for my entire trip because I saw what the prices were going for on eBay. And I was supposed to go with someone and it never happened. And I went by myself. And sure, call me a loser or whatever. But I'm happy I went. Because not only was that match good, that entire card is fantastic. It's so good. There's a Mark Henry Big Show match on there that's good. The ladder matches are good. Everything's good on that show. But the reaction when CM Punk comes out, to have that much of a home field advantage. RVD had it at one night stand. The only thing that's in that even category, probably outside of Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico, is CM Punk in Chicago for Money in the Bank 2011, where every single person, other than a couple of those super fan dorks, wanted to see CM Punk win the championship. And Cabana's in the front row. I think it's Ace Steel, right, is in the front row. Much different times. Punk makes the entrance. And I mean, that crowd with those acoustics in that building, it made it big. I've said this to people. The 2 best crowds I've ever been a part of are not Super Bowls. And I've been privileged to go to like 7 or 8 of them. I've been to some of the biggest sporting events of all time. Been some of the greatest moments of all time. I watched the Plexico Burris helmet, the helmet catch, the David Tyree catch, the Giants comeback in Arizona. I was there when the Bears blew that massive lead and then came back and beat the Cardinals, and Dennis Green's, we are they thought they were. I was at that game. I've been at some unreal moments. I've been very lucky in life. But I was part of the crowd when Dolph Ziggler cashed in Money in the Bank after WrestleMania. The next year or 2 years later. And I was part of the crowd at Money in the Bank 2011. And the Money in the Bank 2011 crowd is the best atmosphere of any event I've ever gone to in my entire life. It's the opposite of having a regret. I wouldn't have known what I missed, but because I went, I'm so happy that I bought the ticket to fly out to Chicago, to go to that show, to be in that building for one of the most special wrestling moments and events of all time, and special matches. With everything that was put into it, with the near falls, with the call, with Laurinaitis and Vince and the kiss, everything. It's perfect. Hey, this is Matt Camp. Thanks for checking out one of our recent clips from the Wrestling Mat. Why is someone so close to The Rock kind of throwing Cody under the bus?
Yeah, a lot of people won't engage with Jim Cornette. I did, just because I have a mark for Jim Cornette. And
Please subscribe right now. Hit the like and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And I think you should listen to your TV partners. Let me tell you about WWE and a little insight. More subscribers means more content. And make sure you follow us on social media at WrestlingMat23 on both Twitter and Instagram.